Last year we talked about selling my house, and you gave me a great affirmation, which I've been using and which has really been helping me feel really good energy around that. Interesting thing that's happened in the past year. If I had sold my house when I thought I wanted to, I would have bought something else that would have turned out not to meet all the needs that I now want to meet. Because in the interim, my little sister back east got divorced and has wanted to move out to Colorado with her 2 sons to live with me, which I'm really looking forward to. And the place I would have bought would not have worked. Now that that's happened and gone down, we're able to kind of collect our energy together so that when we do sell and buy, we'll have something that'll work well for everybody. So I thought it was interesting that some other things had to transpire in order for me to get more clarity on what I really wanted and what would really work out for everybody.
We like what we're hearing here. Sometimes we hear our physical friends sort of scapegoating in that way just a little bit. In other words, we would like to say to you, it would have been perfectly all right for you to have allowed the universe to have given you exactly what you wanted immediately. And you could have been joyously enjoying that during the interim while your sister was formulating her intentions, and then you all could have at that time moved into another place. We never want to give the impression that you should take a lot of solace in putting up with the absence of something that you want, with the idea that something really good is coming, although that's a much better vibrational vantage point than to say, it's not working for me, what's going wrong? All of the intentions that you hold have been preceding you, and in many cases are culminating out there a month, 2 months, 5 months, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. In other words, your pictures of who you are and what you want in your future experience, immediate and further out, have been culminating out there, and source energy has been actively complying with them, shoring them up, arranging circumstances and events. You have no idea the amount of pre-paving that is being orchestrated on your behalf by all that is. It is masterfully prepared. So, as you stand in your now, frustrated that something's not unfolding, you hold yourself off from the preparation longer. As you relax and enjoy that everything is unfolding and make the best of where you are. And by making the best, we don't mean settle for less. We mean make the best. Make the best of the moments and the segments. Then what happens is you line up faster with your own vision of who you are and with the universe's or source or God force or whatever you want to call it, culmination that has already been put into place on your behalf. Everything that you want has not one, but many, 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 many avenues through which it could unfold. And each of those avenues is a journey that is intended to be a joyful journey for you. In other words, it's not unpleasant, unpleasant, unpleasant. We found a little pocket of satisfying life for a little while. Unpleasant, unpleasant, unpleasant. It's supposed to all be pleasant, you see. Your expectation is often enhanced through your actions, as well as your actions being enhanced through your expectation. But there is something very powerful about, well, what can I do? What can I do now about this thing that I want? And it isn't that you need to do anything, but sometimes that feeling of not being able to do something has you so balled up that you don't let it happen, where when you do something that you can do something about, something breaks loose and then off it goes.
There's been another interesting aspect to the story. A couple of Christmases ago, Bodo died. And Bodo was one of the reasons I loved living where I live. And in this interim year, while my sister's stuff was figuring itself out, and while I was starting to see a convergence between what I wanted and what she wanted and what the boys wanted.
Convergence, very good word, yes.
My neighbor right down the street from me got a baby German Shepherd puppy. And ever since he's had the puppy, he has let me walk it and be with it anytime I wanted. So in the interim of this apparent delay, what's happened is there's another German Shepherd dog in my life. Without the responsibility of owning the dog, I now have a dog to play with in the area that I used to play with Bodo. And that would not have happened if I had moved back when I thought I wanted to move or needed to move.
we always enjoy with such pleasure and humor our humans' friends' perspective of things turning out well. It's supposed to be that way. You're supposed to get everything you want.
Surprise, surprise.
There are not supposed to be any parts of your life that are not satisfying to you. You're supposed to get it all. And all that is always pointed toward that. And as you have more experiences like this, which you verbalize so powerfully, and as you acknowledge, then more and more and more you begin to just relax into the natural state of expected well-being. We just love it when something good happens and you're not shocked.
Yeah. My question is a cosmic question. You've talked about how the sun and the blue sky and the rainfall and the flowers and all the things that we love and probably do take for granted in our planet and in our universe, how they just keep going on and on. And I think I've heard you say in the past that those intentions were set a long time ago. Are those realities maintained by the fact that we keep enjoying them?
Yes, and by the fact that we keep enjoying them.
So that's a place where you're co-creating with us.
We never
edge
stop co-creating with you. Without us, you'd be nothing.
And vice versa.
Exactly. We're just playing with you a little bit. In other words, we're wanting to blur that line between that which is physical and that which is non-physical, and help you to realize that you cannot be living here on this leading edge environment without this huge infusion of source energy. It is not worth doing and not possible to do to separate the intentions that you now hold from the intentions that we all hold. In other words, this experience in this leading edge environment was pre-intended before the environment even existed. But once you all got here, we didn't stop thinking about it. We continue to enjoy it through your eyes and identify what needs to be done from broader perspective, you see.
Yeah.
Yes.
And finally, the message. I have a very dear friend in Hawaii, and he wanted me to... I spoke to him last night, and he asked me to let you all know that he really misses seeing you guys in Maui and the Big Island.
Well, he's not looking. Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, can I ask something? Something just came up that I wanted to talk to you about.
Does the idea of being tarred and feathered?
I'll be very, very brief. I'll be very brief once I get to the beginning. Okay, so we have no rain in San Antonio for a long time. As a matter of fact, the announcement was there's no rain there in 2 months. And so it's really, really dry. And we had dinner with Dave and Barbara the other evening, and Esther says, well, I can bring rain. And Dave said, you can do that? He said, she said, I can have, how much do you want? I said, well, I'd like to have 2 inches. And I said, because I want to kind of see the runoff, on the new water gardens and things. And Esther said, well, I can do that. And like 3 o'clock in the morning, the thunder started and the lightning. And I had looked at the weather. There was no sign of any weather anywhere. It was just going to be sun, sun, sun for the next week or so. And boy, did it rain. It poured and poured. And then the next day it poured. Now we've had 4 inches now since we left town. And I think what's even funnier, as we drove all through Texas, in every little town, Dalhart and all that, they had a little sound to San Angelo, pray for rain, pray for rain, pray for rain. And every night we wake up along the way. We woke up at 3:30 in the morning, a thunderstorm, limbs are blowing off trees. We just walked out in a flood. And the flood's been following us everywhere. And I said to Esther, it isn't really following us because it's coming the other way, but it's meeting us. It's like we're meeting there. That's one thing I wanted to throw at you. The other thing that's kind of strange is we're building a new shop garage. One of our new staff members is going to do some metal sculpture for some gates and some things and some railings on the new buildings and stuff. And as our builder was doing it, and I said, well, I talked about a post building, and I know we'll put it in cement. And then Mike, our builder, said, yeah, he says, the wind could catch that and just take it off if we don't have it, he said, it'll hold it a lot better. And so I had that thought in mind, and we're driving, and I'm coming up through Amarillo, and Esther was unusual for me to get to drive, and so she was laying down in the back, and I had that thought. I was saying, well, maybe I should put doors on the front of this building, so if the wind comes And then I'm thinking, well, if the wind caught it, it'd have to come from the north, which means what would it do? It would tip it up against that other new building. And within 40 seconds, I looked off to the right, and there was a garage blown upside down up on the edge of somebody's house, with their boat and all that lay out here in the road. And I thought, what's going on? Can you explain what happens in that stuff? I mean, these people were praying for rain up here. Now, was it their prayer that brought the rain, or was it Esther's just, you get it? I mean, can you kind of elaborate on it?
Well, you've heard us say that one who is asking in a pure state of allowing has influence. And so that's what happens. In other words, everyone is wanting the rain, and so the rain is being summoned, but most people are so focused upon the fact that there is no rain that they are beating the drum of not enough rain. Mm-hmm. Your weather patterns are absolutely influenced by vibration. Mm. And one of you who opens a vortex of desire and allowing can be very influential. Yes. Does that satisfy you relative to the rain?
That does on that. So, Esther, the fact that it didn't really matter to us because we don't live in San Antonio anymore, we live in our motor coach, she could draw the rain.
It's easier for Esther to bring rain to San Antonio than it is for her to get her floor right. Because as she's beating the drum of the floor that isn't right, perfect floors cannot buck that current, but she does not have those same sort of negative vibrations going about the rain. Her feeling about rain is that it always comes, it's nurturing in nature, and she has discovered through trial and error over many years that she can summon rain by wanting it and by expecting it. In other words, and all things are that way for all of you.
Right. Okay, and so the other factor, now I guess this has been a long question of mine. So did a part of me know I was going to see up the road, it was out of my sight at the time, but up the road I was going to see a garage turned over up against a house, flipped up by the wind, and which made me start thinking about it? Or was
not exactly that way.
Okay,
remember earlier we were talking about how your future life, there are culmination points in advance. And so literally everything that you want to know about, the culmination points are lining up. Every answer to every question is out there on your path somewhere. Mm-hmm. And there are endless paths and endless answers. You could go any direction and find the answers to what you're looking for, because the resources to satisfy your requests are vast enough that anything that you want to know or anything that you want to be or do or have can culminate for you. And so the question is, what are you doing about it in your vibration that is either allowing or disallowing the culmination or your awareness of the culmination? Mm-hmm. So as you are setting forth your intent for something, you're pondering it, you're wondering about it. Now, you may not be aware of how much you have really been wondering about this. This is something that you care about. It's a building that you've been contemplating. It's also a building that you'd contemplated before, and so your now thoughts are dovetailing to it. And now you have another powerful creator who will use the building thinking about it, and another powerful creator who will build the building now thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So all of you have formed this vortex of energy that is out ahead of you, and you, as you are getting close to laying the foundation, you are beginning to ask with greater fervor, with greater intensity. You're wanting to make sure that even though the decisions seem to come up quickly, that you're not making a mistake. And so your mind is sort of toying with all of the possibilities. Mm-hmm. And so when you get that thought in your mind about the building maybe not being secure enough, and it has been prompted by the heavy winds that you've been seeing as you've been driving and such. Yeah. So all of this is adding, you're amending your decision, you're amending your desire, and your desire is becoming this more focused place. Mm-hmm. Well, anytime you begin asking questions, the answers begin to focus out there for you too. And so, as you say in your physical format, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Right. And so, as you ask a question and there is an answer that can be given to you, and you've heard us say that words don't teach, it is life experience that is teaching. That's what we mean by that. So, this carport had already blown over. Mm-hmm. Source energy, your inner being, Abraham, all aware that the answer to your question was there. Even the route you took was influenced by your rendezvousing with that answer.
That's right, we had other
Even
choice.
the timing of your departure had to do with your rendezvousing with that answer. And so, was the answer there before the question? Doesn't make any difference. Life experience is full of answers to many questions that are culminating. Mm-hmm. And the universe is always bringing all of that together with this masterful law of attraction. Mm-hmm. And so, very often someone will say, well, did I create that? Or was it already there and I just saw it coming? Well, some of all of that happened.